What's up guys, it's Taneli here. It's the week 18 of my new artwork every week for a year challenge, and for this week I wanted to try something I haven't really ever tried before, and that is to paint a whole piece without sketching. Now, if you've seen my other painting time-lapse videos, you probably noticed that I tend to have a certain way of painting where I do things in the exact same order every time. I usually start by sketching the piece and slowly start adding more and more details to the painting. This time, however, I wanted to see what would happen if I completely skipped the sketching phase and started working on the details right away. I was mostly curious to see if I could do it and what the final piece and the time-lapse video would end up looking like. I feel like painting like this is only possible if you are working from a single reference photo, so if you want to see the reference I used, you can check the link down in the description. Now, I have to say that painting like this feels extremely counterintuitive and unnecessarily hard. If there are people who are learning to paint watching this video, I would not recommend painting like this. The problem when painting without sketching is that you have to think about everything all at once. You need to constantly think about the proportions as well as the colors and the values at the same time. I feel like it makes it much more likely that the painting doesn't look coherent. It's much easier to make mistakes on the proportions when you are not focusing only on them, and having the same colors and values throughout the whole piece becomes much harder. I feel like you are also much more likely to have way more detail around some parts of the painting than others. Regardless, I do have to say that the time-lapse video turned out to be rather satisfying to look at, almost as if adding pieces to a jigsaw puzzle. So if you are learning to paint or want to learn, I would recommend doing it one step at a time. Start by sketching the outlines and the proportions of the piece. Only after you feel like you have the best proportions you can get, should you start adding in color. And I would recommend coloring the whole piece first to get the general idea, and only start adding the darkest shadows and brightest highlights at the very end to bring it all together. Now, there are a couple other things I quickly want to mention about the painting process, and the first one is regarding colors. As you might have noticed by now, I haven't used the edit colors tool at all during the painting process, and you might be wondering how do I get the colors that I need. I mix all the colors I use from the basic palette and then use the eyedropper tool to mix them further and use them again throughout the painting. I feel like using the same palette throughout the piece gives it a more natural and coherent look, and I simply enjoy painting like this more. It's good practice, and I feel like opening the color selection tool kills the flow of the process a bit. The second thing I want to mention is that I've started using the pencil tool with the details. This is something I actually picked up from my previous painting when I was painting on the old Microsoft Paint. I used to think that you can only work with pencil tool if you zoom in very close and carefully place every pixel, but after a while I came to a conclusion that this simply wasn't true. There are some parts of this piece, like Gandalf's hair and beard, where I felt like I wasn't going to get enough sharpness by using just the brush and tried the pencil instead. I feel like using the pencil and the colored pencil brush in combination actually gave a very interesting texture that works really well for some sharper details. Anyways, that's my quick take on this piece. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have video ideas or art challenges for me. Check the description for links to my Discord and my Microsoft Paint tutorial, and consider leaving a like and subscribing for weekly art videos. That would help me a lot, and I would really appreciate it. That being said, I hope to see you all again next week, and here is the final painting for this one.